in the conversational element of relationship marketing through using blogs within the listings of these local businesses. And that's never been available before. I mean, you don't get people generating conversations with a TV or radio or newspaper ad that you put out there and that costs you a ton of money. But if you load up into these directories, once people find you there, they can dig a little bit deeper and do a little bit more research and find exactly who they know, like, and trust the best out of the listings that are up there. Now, probably my favorite, and I think the most impactful, most effective social media website out there right now these days is Twitter. And if you sign up to Twitter, there's a couple of things that you probably must do and several things you probably should not do. There's a swarm of marketers who are out there trying to sell this automated Twitter payload, make your social media, make you money instantly kind of stuff. There's so many people trying to take the social out of social media. It's probably a really bad idea for most businesses to set up a social media site designed in the mindset of trying to create relationships with people and build a sense of rapport and allow a sense of personality. It's really kind of shooting yourself in the foot. It's undercutting your message to overly try to automate that particular process. There are ways that you can repurpose your content once it's there, but specifically, there are these tools that it's called auto-following, and you can type in a search, and then a software will just instantly add everybody who's talked about a specific keyword, or comes from a specific area, or has this word in their profile title. There's all different ways you can structure the search. They will instantly add these groups of people, monumental, mindless groups of people, to your social network. But what that effectively does is it dilutes your authenticity and your personal power and your strength. There's no more interaction or connection going on when it's just been a software program that finds who it is you're supposed to interact with. So I do advise people, find followers on your own, and once you do have people in your social network, interact with them as often as possible in a conversational, one-on-one, me to you, I'm answering your question sort of way. So that is the biggest mistake of social media, and I think the most obvious solution to that mistake. The coolest part about using Twitter, and I've already violated this rule, is it really trains you to know and understand economy of words. You really have to be brief. You have to be the most empowering, the most impactful as you can, and entertaining in 140 characters or less. So a lot of businesses who may have struggled with social media because writing a blog post takes a lot of time, or making a video takes a lot of time, you're not really sure what to write, and they can just ramble, and it's, you really have to be concise. You really have to make sure that it's valuable in a short amount of space. So the other cool thing about it is there are some really interesting tracking tools for Twitter specifically that allow you to track exactly how many people, and even you can even find out their IP address and find out exactly what time of day they found and went through your post. So you can actually test and track the effectiveness of your message by using a tool called budurl.com, budurl.com. This is something that's a link shortening service. And what it does is, if you've ever seen these really long links, HTTP, and there's like 60 characters later, you're at the end of the link. Well, if you've only got 140 characters, you don't want it to be taken up with a great big long link. So all these new services have popped up that allow you to you can rename that link typically almost anything you want. So it'll say bloodurl.com/video. And you can put that into you can post that. And now every time somebody clicks on your link, you can go into the dashboard of that, and it'll actually show you the time it got clicked, how often it got clicked, how many people have actually responded to that message. Now, I use this with really great success, and I wanted to use it to test wording in headlines. So I put the same link, the same destination at the end, but I changed the keyword that I called this headline. So I could see that when I used mentor instead of teacher, people really responded to getting a mentor. They didn't really respond, didn't have a great deal of response for teachers. So you can switch and split test the words that you use in your headline and see, all right, this is the most effective. If I'm going to do, say, a direct mail campaign or a radio campaign or anything else, if you use instantly active social media to test the effectiveness of your message before you throw all your money at a media buy, you can make sure that the money being spent in different media is going to be the most effective possible. So that testing and tracking, being able to instantly know is especially valuable, and it saves people an awful lot of expensive trial and error, or put it out there and wait, or the muddling that can come from having to send out multiple messages over time and never being sure which one actually drove that customer to your door and got the credit card whipped out. If you can test the words, you can track the traffic. It's just a really valuable tool. We're getting to the end of the list of stuff that I wanted to share with people. And, there's another one. Now, Twitter is also especially helpful. I told you to not use a software program that automatically follows and brings customers to you. If it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But if you're taking part in being active in the search process, for me, I do an awful lot of search engine optimization, and I do keyword research to see what are the actual specific words that people are using when they're typing in Google to find the solution that I actually sell. So if you do some keyword research and find out what are your biggest traffic keywords, you can actually use that same term and put it into a different tool called search.twitter.com. Now you'll find anybody out there who's actually posted using that as a keyword. So you could just put little quotes around it and say, find a good mechanic. Type that into searchtwitter.com and you'll see everybody who's asking the Twitter community if they can find a good mechanic. You can follow that conversation and see all of the recommendations that people are offering this person. And you can also follow the people who are asking the question, because if you're a mechanic, you know that person needs a mechanic. So by finding the people who are already talking about it, it's easier for you to jump into a conversation, and it's much quicker to be able to have that conversation be about your business if they're already talking about your business. So you're not kind of violating the barbecue rule. If you're a car salesman and you're at a backyard barbecue and everybody's talking about politics and you want to go over and talk about cars, you're going to get booted. But if everybody's talking about cars, you can go on over and just introduce yourself right into that conversation. And it's not going to seem, you're not going to be the alien, you're not going to be the outsider. So you can find and gather those customers for you. But you need to do it on a personal basis, and I always end up